Hello everybody, and welcome to Crafty Hour number 6. Can't believe we're on number 6 already. Hello, Miss Deanna. It is a cold, brisky day. We got the heater on underneath my table. We got the tunnel going. So welcome everybody. Welcome to Crafty Hour number 6. So we are super excited to be bringing you one of these new Crafty Hours. So hello Deanna, hello Sharon, hello Susan, hello Michelle. You're watching while you're finishing up some work. Perfect. Hello Huette, Marcy, hello. Hello Keitha. So for this Crafty Hour, and I'll give it a couple minutes for everybody to jump on. Hello Cheryl, Gayanne. Oh, they're coming in fast now. Rhonda, Landa. Rhonda again. Thank you. So what we're going to be doing for this Crafty Hour, because I like to do techniques, we are going to be playing with watercoloring. I got the set of Tim Holtz Distress watercolor pencils, and I hadn't cracked the box open yet. So I thought this will be a great opportunity to crack this box open and give it a chance to play with. So if you girls have the Distress watercolor pencils, and let me grab my full set so you can see them, grab those because we are going to play and create with them. If you don't have them, that's okay. If you have regular watercolor pencils, grab those. If you just have Distress markers, maybe you have watercolor paints, just grab whatever you have. The whole idea behind Crafty Hour is to use what you have. Learn some new techniques, play with some new products, be inspired, and use what you have. And then if you're like, ooh, I really like those Distress crayons or pencils, then give me or Deanna a call and we will be happy to hook you up and get you new sets of those. But like I said, use what you have, pull out what you have. The whole idea is to inspire you to use what you have. We offer kits each time, of course, which our Crafty Hour will be based around those kits. So that's what we've got. So let me grab my full-size pencils really quick while everybody is saying hello and jumping on. And on these, so here's what we're using. We're using the watercolor pencil sets. They come in three, oops, I moved it. They come in 3 different sets. Of course, there is 1, 2, and 3. Each set in itself, you can make whatever you want because each one is going to have all the colors you need. Your reds, your yellows, your greens, your blues. It has it all. But I did see somebody in one of the Tim Holtz Addicts groups, I think it was, took all their pencils out and dumped them because this is how the OCD works. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to do that with mine. I just haven't done it yet. They dumped all their pencils out and put it in the RBGY, whatever you want to say, order. So colors of the rainbows. And they mixed all of their sets. Because if you flip to the back side, it still says what color came with that set. If you matters what color came with that set. But if you want to do them to your light, medium, dark, your rainbow colors, you can do that also. Okay, and like I said, the watercolor pencils are sold out. We're waiting for them to come back in stock. So get on the wait list and we will give you, with your home store, and we will give you a call as soon as they come back in because we do have lots of them coming in. I know, right? It needs to be in the rainbow. My head just works that way. Hello, Amy. Amy gets to watch us real time. She doesn't have to do a catch up this time. Awesome. Hello, Brenda. Oh no, my partner's under the weather. Hope they feel better soon. Oh, do all the feeding stay. I know how that is. Okay, so we're 5 minutes in, so we're gonna give it a jump start. Hello, Diane. I love this. I love these Crafty Hours, and I love Facebook, and I love that we are able to offer you this event to craft along with us, to be inspired, and you're from all over the US, all over Canada, I don't know if we've reached out to any international people yet crafting along with us or watching, but that would be awesome too if we have it. And that is one of the good things that COVID brought to us. It brought this community, this craft community together, and this collaboration of two amazing stores. So I think there is good stuff that has come from COVID, but we're ready to move on from COVID and just play with all the fun new opportunities and classes and stuff we came in. So who's ready to play? So in your kit, you got 2 of the pieces to kind of make this card, and only use 1 of them because I'm sure Stacy will be using the bits and pieces from the other one, and she will be rescheduling next week sometime the Crafty Hour. So don't worry, there will be a Clipper Street Crafty Hour. They just had to reschedule it and postpone it a little bit at this time. So in your kit that you would have got with your stamp set for both stores, you're going to have these pieces. Now you will need a card base, and if you girls did the Christmas extravaganza with us, I grabbed all the card bases out of that box because that box came with a bunch of card bases. So you're going to want to grab a card base. This is standard size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I will put the measurements right here. Oh, good. Deanna says she believes next Tuesday, 22nd. But we will keep you guys posted, and we will create the event and share it. That way you guys can post that you're going and like it, and then that way you'll get the reminders also from Facebook when it goes live. Isn't that a nice, convenient thing? Yes. Okay, so that you need to provide. In your kit, this is already pre-cut for you, and mine's going to look a little different because I sold all the kits and I forgot to save one for myself. So I had to recut them. So mine looks a little different. Yours will be solid green. Don't worry about the green hole in the center of mine. Just a note, if you haven't taken a class from me or Deanna and you don't understand the hole, there is a method to our madness. This piece is going to go down, and then this piece is going to go over. So why not take your nesting dies and cut something out of the center of it so you have your coordinating cardstock and you don't have to waste more cardstock. You might as well cut the centers out of things. So that's where your nesting dies are going to come in perfect. And tons of companies have nesting dies. I love all the Spellbinder ones. We use those a lot. So that's why mine has a hole in the center. Yours will not, because yours was provided by IO. So you will have a green piece that's already cut for you. That's going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is going to be the exact size of your white card base. So no white poking around the outside edge of this one, unless you want to. If you want to, then cut a hair off on each side, and then you can have that little white edge. But I didn't do it on this one. I just kept it. Hello, Jennifer. Yes, Ken and puppies are supposed to be quiet for an hour. We'll see how well they do. Okay, next piece that was already in your kit is this red piece right here. And again, this was already cut for you. It's going to go right on top of that green, and it was 3 3/4 by 5 inch. Okay, that's already pre-cut for you. Now, in your kit, you're going to have a piece of white cardstock, again, that's pre-cut for you. And it's going to be 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. I swapped it out because I wanted to do watercolor effects and watercolor techniques. And I tried the technique on this card, on just the white cardstock, and it didn't give me the effect I wanted. It looked a little muddy and I was not happy with it. So what I did is that white piece of paper that came in your kit, I sat it to the side and I cut a piece of watercolor cardstock instead. So that's why it says H2O. This is a piece of watercolor cardstock that I cut 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Now, if you're just using markers or if you're just using regular pencils and you're not going to be getting it really wet, then use the cardstock that's in there. But I wanted to do some watercoloring techniques with it, so I swapped it out with watercolor paper. Okay, and then it'll mat really nicely inside of that red. So you just have an itty bitty little hair showing around the outside edge, like so. Oh, Debbie, I'm so glad you get to catch us live. And then in your kit, you'll already have one of these little guys. And again, yours is going to look a hair different than mine because I had to cut one from existing dies that I own. So yours will be a little different, but you have that little frame. And then you're going to have that little piece of white paper too. Okay, so that is all pre-done in your kit. If you want to grab some watercolor paper and cut that down, go ahead and do that now. And it'll be 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, so then I'm just going to move all of these pieces out of the way. And we're going to work on that piece of watercolor paper. Or if you're using just the white that's in there, grab that white one that's in there. You're then going to want a stamping platform. I like to use the Misty. If you've got the Tim Holtz one, whatever you have, go ahead and grab that. And we're going to grab our stamp set. Is this not a fabulous stamp set? It is beautiful. I love the poinsettia. It's in there, and it's funny. The poinsettia is my favorite stamp in the set, and I didn't use it. Kind of like when Deanna designs card classes with the ephemera pieces, and she never uses her favorite ones. I don't know why. In our head, we save them for something, and we don't use them. I know. I just can't explain it. So I didn't use the poinsettia. I might go back and do another kind of mixed media background with that one. But for now, I didn't use that one. I'm kind of bummed. Okay, so we're going to put our piece of cardstock in your stamping platform. And when I put it in, I'm going to be using the grid that's on here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to stamp on one side. We're going to flip it and stamp again on the next side. So when you put your piece of cardstock in, you are not going to, and what I could do is put a little marker or something there. So I'm just going to make a little mark, and I'm going to make it right here. So I'm just using this right corner, kind of the grid that's in my mat, just so I know that I'm going to line back up with that. So I'm going to put my paper in there, and I'm going to line it up with the grid that's on my thing. Line it up with whatever you want. But the reason I'm not putting it all the way to the side and all the way to the bottom is when we stamp our stamp, we're going to kind of stamp off the side of it and the edge of it. So you can't bring it all the way down to the bottom, otherwise that would interfere with that. So the stamp we're using is going to be that beautiful holly one, and your stamp's going to be new, and it's going to have a white backing on it. And let me see if I have any stamps that I haven't peeled it off yet. Yep, I do. So your stamps, this is just how the manufacturer makes them. On the back side, it's going to have this white like cardstock. Just go ahead and peel this off. It's just a protective, and you're going to throw that in the trash. You don't need to keep it. And now this is going to be clingable, so it will stick to your clear stamps and your stamping blocks. It'll stick to your stamping platforms also. Okay, so just peel that guy off. Okay, then I'm going to take my holly, and I'm going to bring it so the twig part, this twiggy part, comes all the way down to the bottom of my card. And what I'm looking at is to do about the bottom section of my card, because we're going to flip it and repeat the same thing up here. And we don't want it to bump in or interfere with that other piece. So we're just going to kind of lean it to the side and bring it down. Now, this is a red rubber stamp. It is thicker. So that means if you're using the Misty, you want to take out, and it's underneath your paper, take out that foam pad. Okay? If you're using the Tim Holtz platform, make sure to flip your lid. It'll say, what does it say? Does it say like red rubber or clear? I think it says rubber. You want to flip it so the rubber side is what you're using, because there is a different thickness on these stamps, so you have to make up for the difference on those. Okay, is everybody with me? Do we have people actually crafting along, or is everybody just kind of watching? Which both is okay. That's why it's on replay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move these card measurements out of the way because I think everybody has those cut. So I think we're good. Thumbs up. Okay, perfect. I know people are live and watching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up. And I posted in the group. My lid's been flipped for years, right? Flip your lid. I used Forest Moss, and I'm using Distress ink. This ink is water reactive. So anytime you do watercoloring or you mix water with it, it's going to activate every time. So the look I was going for when I did this is I wanted this to kind of be feathered out and give it a watercolor effect. I did not want it to be permanent and bold. So I didn't do it in black because I felt black was going to be too bright. And I wanted this to kind of feather out. Now this is my type of watercoloring. If you look in here, you're going to see quick watercoloring. And this is what I like to do. I leave white space. I am not a color that goes all the way up to the edges and follows and stays in the line. I'm a wham bam, thank you ma'am. I like quick and easy. If it's not quick and easy, it's not for me. But you do you. If you want to color in your whole thing and go up to the lines and have it perfectly colored in, then by all means do that because that is your style. No two people have the same style. Some people love to color and spend hours on coloring, and some people like quick and easy. I like quick and easy. Okay? All right. I'm just explaining the methods to my madness because some people are like, I don't get it. And I'm like, there's just different ways. Okay? Anyways, Forest Moss. Forest Moss is the Distress ink I'm using. It's a really dark green. Dark green. And we're going to ink it up and then we're going to stamp it onto that watercolor paper. And the watercolor paper is going to allow us to go in and color and do blending and shading, and it won't pill the paper. If you're using regular cardstock and you get it too wet or you overwork it, then it will pill the paper, and we don't want it to pill the paper. Okay, so there's our image. I want it to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to hit it again. I'm going to ink it one more time. I usually always ink my images up twice. It never seems like I get it perfect on the first time. And that is the awesome advantage of having stamping platforms, is you can line it up every time. You can get it darker, and it gives you that nice, crisp, stamped image. Okay? Oh, just like that. Perfect. I love it. Now we're going to flip it. So remember, I did this little corner right here, so I knew where to line my paper back up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to rotate it. We're going to line it back up in that corner. And I'm going to kind of slowly close my door and make sure it's not going to interfere with that, and we're good. So we're going to ink her up again with Forest Moss. Awesome. We have some girls just watching. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. I was like, we try to hit you one in the day and then one of you in the afternoon, and then that way hopefully you can craft along with at least one of us, and this way we get home from work, eat dinner really quick, and then we can go in and craft. Okay, so Forest Moss, I'm just doing it twice to make sure we get a good, nice, crisp coverage. And what I'm using to press my down with, I absolutely love this. This is the new Pink Fresh stamp pressing tool, and I love it. It's got this thick foam pad on it, so it won't scratch or misty, and it's a block of wood, so you can get a nice pressure on it when you're doing it. Okay, then I'm going to clean my stamp. As soon as I find my stamp chamois. This is a dye-based ink for the Forest Moss, so it just cleans up with water. You don't need any harsh chemicals or anything to get it off. it just scrubs off really nice with the Lawn Fawn Stamp Chamois. And I just love this thing. Love, love, love. Okay, and we are done with that stamp. And you can go ahead and take that guy off of there. I know, isn't it so pretty? I just loved the brass finish on it, and it's a nice, sturdy, nice weight. It's really, really, really pretty. Can I use Copic paper, or is watercolor paper better? But use Copic paper. If you are using Copic markers and stuff, by all means, use that paper. But the Copic paper is not going to work with the water to allow it to blend and move like we're going to do with the watercolor paper. So the Copic paper is different, but if you're using markers, go for it. Okay, so my ink is still really, really wet, and which is unusual for dye-based inks, but I think it's the coating that's on my watercolor paper because I use the smooth side instead of the porous sides. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit it with the heat tool and kind of dry it. Jennifer, oops. I'm all tied up in things. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to lose volume because of this or not. Jennifer asks, do I prefer the Pink Fresh over the Stampendable? I have both of them sitting here. There's the Stampendable, there's the Pink Fresh. I mean, both of them do what you need them to do. The nice thing about the Pink Fresh is it's a big square. So I feel like I can cover the surface faster, whereas the little Stampendable one is round. Now, this one isn't as heavy. This one's a little bit heavier, so you don't have to push as hard with the wooden one. But yes, I have both right here. I love both. It just makes a world of difference. And with the stamping tools, I find that you don't do the CPR pressing on your platforms, and then you're less likely to mush your image on clear stamps and less likely to mush sentiments too. It's all fun and games till your sentiments get all mushy. Okay, so I think I dried that. I was just drying it because we're going to go in and do some watercoloring, and I just didn't want to smear, well, it looks like it's still a little wet. I don't want to smear that ink with my pencils. Like I said, I think it's just the coating on my paper. Normally, you don't need to heat set dye-based inks, but I would say it's humid here, but it is not, so I'm not sure why it's not. Okay, it's just the coating on my paper. Okay, so those are dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab a green, kind of a medium green pencil. If you're using watercolor pencils, go for it. If you're using, you can do techniques like I did with the last IO class, and I use the distress markers. You can still kind of do that same technique with these too. But what I'm using is peeled paint in the distress watercolor. So it's kind of a medium green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to color. And again, I'm not coloring perfect. I'm going to go in and color the leaves. Don't worry about filling the whole thing in. And what I do is I go darker in the center, lighter on the outside, because what we're going to do is go back in with that water brush and we're going to blend it all out. So just kind of lay some color down. Leave some white area, but darker in the center, lighter on the outside. And the reason I go darker in the center is because that's where they kind of have these lines, and that kind of gives you your shadowing effect, wherever those lines in. Watercolor paper I used, it's probably Strathmore. I use a lot of Strathmore watercolor paper. I also like Kansan watercolor paper, and Ranger is really good too. I like Ranger, has the card front sides already. I think there might be 25 in a pack. So I love to grab those because they're card fronts and it's already cut. But those are kind of my three favorite: Kansan, Strathmore, and the Ranger ones. Okay, now on here, I'm just coloring the leaves. Do not worry about the stems because my pencil is kind of fat. So I don't want to have to go and color that in, and I'm not going to stay in the lines. I'm not going to lie. This guy's too fat for the lines. So don't worry about that. I'll show you how to cover those in a little bit. Okay? So just go in, color your leaves. Oh my gosh, I talk too much. We're already 26 minutes in. Time flies. It's supposed to be an hour, Kourtney, not crafting, late night crafting with Kourtney. That's okay. Coloring on this is fast. You're also going to want a water brush. And then make sure you're part of the Crafty Our Creations Facebook page that we've started for the group. So make sure you're a part of that so you can go over and share your creations, because we would love to see what mediums you used, and we would love to see your interpretation of these cards too. Okay, so I just went in and scribbled those. We're going to take a water brush. I love the details of the water brush. Again, Ranger has a really good detail brush. This one is Kyoto. It's the comes with the watercolor palette. Those have that nice brush tip on them too. Not too much talking. Learning helps when working on things. Okay, perfect, Rhonda. Okay, now we're going to take our water brush and we're just going to go in and scribble on each leaf. Now, you're going to notice we used a dye-based ink, and that dye-based ink, as you color, is now going to, I'm going to use the technical term blob. So that color is blobbing out. But what it is doing is when you hit it with water, that crayon or the pencil and the stamped dye-based image is now blending, and that's giving you your light, mediums, and darks. So it's giving you a really cool effect of shading without you having to take all the work and shade. I see a lot of people do beautiful work with Copics. You guys can shade like no other, and it is gorgeous. I'm not good at alcohol markers. I have tried. It doesn't work out for me. So again, you do you. Watercolor is easy and I think fun, and there's no right or wrong. Another thing that's nice about watercolor is if you get outside of the lines, or if you get too much color on it, you can always lighten it up. So basically what you'll do is you'll take your clean brush, flood the area to oversaturate it with water, and then take a paper towel, clean paper towel, and dab it. And that will pull a bunch of that color off. As long as you're using watercolor paper, that'll pull that color off. Okay? So we're just going in here and blending that out. Like I said, I am leaving white space. I'm not going up to the edges. But if you want to go to the edges, go to the edges. Oh no, Roberta. Hello. Had to work late. So as you can see, we have those light, mediums, and darks, and we have that easy shading without a lot of work. And it's activating that dye-based ink that's in this, what I call the shadow part of the stamp. And that's adding another color aspect to it, and that is adding more of that shading. Now you could stamp this with a permanent ink, which is what we'll do on the next one. And then you wouldn't have it blending and moving. But I like I said, if you need to whip out a bunch of quick, easy Christmas cards, this is going to be your design right here. Oh, thank you, Jan. She said it looks beautiful already. And you'll notice as you hit it with water, this color, Ink Forest Moss, has a brown tone to it, because as you're coloring, you'll be like, where did that brown come from? Is my brush dirty or something? It is not. There's just a brown tone to it. Okay, so there we've gone in and colored it. We've got our shading, and we haven't oversaturated it, so it dries pretty quick. And see how we have those light, medium, and darks in there, and we did it really quick. Okay, so my brush is still a little dirty. It's got green on there because it picked it up. This is when we're going to take that brush and we're going to color in with our dirty brush that stem. And look, there was enough color on there to color that with our dirty brush. So we're doing two things at once. We're cleaning our brush and we're coloring our stems. If you feel like your brush does not have enough color on it, and I felt like I lost a little bit there, a nice thing about this pencil is you can rub the tip of it just like this, and you can pick the color up off of the tip of your pencil, and then you can go in and color with it directly like that. Yep. Okay, and you can color direct. Okay, now I'm going to clean my brush off, and usually what I do to clean my brush off is I'll just take a rag and just wipe it off. Sometimes I just wipe it off on my hand, but you're going to want to just push it, flood a little bit of water out until it comes clear, and that's all you need to do to clean your brush off. Just flood it until it's clear. Okay, now we're going to do the berries. I'm going to take the red, and this one is Candied Apple, is the color I decided to use from the pencil set. And again, we're going to color those berries. I'm pressing kind of hard because I want a lot of pigment. These pencils have a lot of pigment in them. And again, I'm not worrying about filling it in perfectly. See how I have white spots? It's okay, because when you go in with your water brush, you can fill it in more perfect. So we're just scribbling in some red. And if you're using markers, great. If you're using regular watercolor pencils, that is perfect too. Use what you have. Unless you're like, oh my God, these are awesome, I have to have them. Then give me or Deanna a call and we will get you on the list to get these reordered for you. And then we're going to color it in. Just take your water brush and color it in. I kind of challenged myself to play with and use these pencils, because I bought them in, what was it, September when they were released, and they still have the cellophane wrap on them. I had not opened them yet. So I was challenging myself to open product that I buy and use it. Open it and use it, because how many times have we bought something, we never opened it, and then by the time we go to open it, it went bad. We buy the product to use it, not collect it. Now, Ken says collecting craft supplies is a whole new hobby, a whole nother hobby, which it is. But play with the new stuff. Be inspired. Okay, so there's our card. We are done. Isn't that beautiful? I know, right? We have to use it. That way it justifies going and buying more. Or new colors. Okay, now we're going to assemble our card. So just kind of set that guy to the side. Mine's already dry because I didn't add a lot of water to it. If you used a lot of water to it, go ahead and hit it with the heat tool if you need to, but I'm good with mine. Mine's dry. I know, right? We've all been there. How many times did you buy something, you're like, oh my God, I just had to have it. And then you went to open it up and it was already hard as a rock because, well, it sat in your stash for 10 years. Just get it out and play. I know some girls, some of our customers like to, the minute they get home, make color splotches. And I think that's a great idea too, because then you open it and you use it. I know I bought the Tim Holtz glass mat when it first came out, and mine probably sat in a box for a year. Because in my head, I thought, oh, if I pull it out and it's going to get banged up, it's going to get dirty, it's going to get scratched, and I don't want that to happen. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, that is so stupid. I bought this glass mat to use it, get it out of the flipping box. So I got it out of the box, and then I loved it, and it was great, and it was wonderful. And I'm like, why didn't I get it out of the box earlier? And I didn't, because I thought, what if it gets dirty? And again, so dumb in my head. But this is how my brain works. Okay, I'm gluing the watercolor down to the red now. So I glued my green down to my card base. I glued my watercolor down to my red. So I have two separate pieces. Okay? Yes, Deanna, use it or lose it. I'm telling you. So many times I have to tell that to myself. Okay, we have two different pieces here. And then you've got some ribbon that was in your kit. And you might have to cut your ribbon down, or sometimes I leave my ribbon long, so it's just easier to tie. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap that ribbon around the red and the white. And we are going to tie a bow. And I am not a bow expert by any means. We're going to tie a bow over here on the left-hand side. And we're pushing it over to the left. That way we have room to put our little sentiment, okay? And look at that. Somehow my bow managed to be upside down, but we're going with it. That's just how my day's gone. We're going to be upside down. We're going upside down. That's just the way it is. Okay, at this point, why we did this is so our ribbon is wrapped around the backside, and when we glue it down, it is secured. Now, you can either put pops on it at this point in time, or you can glue it flat. I'm going to glue mine flat because I have a lot of cards that I need to mail out this year, and if I put too many pops on them, our post office does not like it. The lady at the counter frowns on me. So I'm going to do mine kind of flat because I need some that I can ship. Okay, we're going to put that on. And again, pop it or glue it flat, whatever you want to do. And we're going to put it on the green just like that. And again, we're upside down. I guess I could have flipped it and put my sentiment on the other side, but it's too late now. We're going with it. I think it was just called October Limited Edition. I don't know that it had a name for the stamp set. Okay, then we've got our little square. And I'm just going to stamp this with black ink. You could stamp it with a green ink, again, to match it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to speed up because I'm going to go over time here. And we're going to stamp Warm Holiday Wishes. Warm Holiday Wishes onto that little black or little white piece of paper with black ink. Okay, ta-da! Again, talking too much and it slows me down. Okay, then we're going to glue that piece onto our little frame. And that's going to go on the green piece. And then this green piece, I do end up popping it. Because of that ribbon that's on there, we're going to put it on top of the ribbon. And I didn't want it to teeter-totter over the ribbon. So I am going to put a little bit of pop on the top and on the bottom. And then the ribbon will go through the center. Okay. Let's see. People are shopping. Awesome. We thank you for your love and support. Okay, so I put pops at the top, pops at the bottom, and the ribbon is going to teeter-totter in the center. Oh, I can't get a hold of it. Oh, hello, Karen. Hello, hello. Okay. And then we're just going to pop it right there just like that. Perfect. And there is card number 1. Now the next card is going to have a lot of repeat. So there's that. And then the last thing I did is you're going to use red stickles. And I will assign this as homework. So you're going to go in and add, you know what, I'll just do it really quick. We're going to add red stickles to the berries because it just adds a little something. If you're doing Christmas cards or holiday cards, I feel like they need glitter because it just adds a little bit of bling to it. Pencil sharpener. So the one that works really good with these watercolor pencils is the Trio Sharpener by Faber-Castell. And the nice thing about it is it catches the shavings. And Tim Holtz does a whole thing about these shavings that you can put them in one of the like alcohol ink palettes, save the shavings, and turn them into watercolor paints. So save your shavings when you sharpen these pencils. And the Trio Sharpener is nice because it takes 3 different sizes of pencils. Okay, we added stickles. Oh, I love it, Karen. Karen says she's so happy she accidentally bought this kit the other day. Loves the card. And now, yes, open your crayons and play. Absolutely. Okay, see? Just have to add a little bit of stickles. So set that card, if you put stickles on it, way away from you, because if not, you will stick your hand in it. It never fails. And I almost threw mine on the floor, and then I thought twice. I thought, you have a puppy running around. That would be a nightmare on the carpet. So there we go. Card number 1. Okay, card number 2. We're going to have some quick measurements again for this one. So our card base, again, is going to be a designed card base. So you're going to want a standard size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And somehow I got glitter on that already. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Oh, was it Prismacolor, Deanna? Maybe I spoke wrong. Prismacolor Premier. Is that the one that has 3 in it? I can't remember. I know Tim did a whole thing about pencil sharpeners. I thought it was the Faber-Castell, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. Contact your store. We'll get you taken care of on the pencils. Okay, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. For your white. Then you're going to cut blue, so just a light blue cardstock. And your light blue is going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So this is going to be what you're going to glue down and just have a little white rim around it. And as you can see, my card base is not folded properly. So let me take a bone folder and refold that thing. The big thing on pencil sharpeners too, and I don't know, let me just find a pencil sharpener. I don't know where mine. If only I didn't lose things. Here's my bullet one. So the thing about pencil sharpeners, when you sharpen your pencil, do not twist your pencil. That is what causes it to weeble wobble. Evidently, that's my word for the night, weeble wobble. It causes your pencil to weeble wobble, and that breaks the tip. So when you are sharpening, you want to, and Dina Wakely taught us this, you want to twist the sharpener. So if you have the Prismacolor, the Faber-Castell, whatever sharpener you have, you twist the sharpener, not the pencil. And that will keep you from breaking the lead on them too. Okay, so once your blue is cut, just full of all kinds of extra information tonight, ain't I? Okay, we're going to glue that down. So you're going to glue down, and you're going to have a little bit of white all the way around the outside edge. And we're just gluing the blue down. And that blue is the first one on the list there. That is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, just a little bit of blue on the rim. Yes, absolutely. It works with your eyeliner too. My gosh, yes. Twist your sharpener, not the pencil. It never fails when you're doing your eyeliner and you're like, oh, I've got a really good sharp and I'm going to stop. And then about that time is when you bust your eyeliner. It's right when you think that it's done and then you bust it. Okay, so our next piece is going to be this white piece. This white piece is 4 by 5 1/4. So this piece is going to go right on top of the blue. Now, I just did this on regular cardstock because we are stamping and not doing any watercoloring techniques. So we have a hair of white, a hair of blue, and then we have another layer of white. And this layer of white is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to find a scratch piece of paper. I use my old measurements here. A scrap piece of paper to lay under it because we're going to be stamping off of it and I don't want to stamp on my table and smear black ink. So we're going to grab your black ink. I just used my Jet Black Archival. This is my favorite black ink. I use it for everything. Yes, right? Pencil sharpener techniques. Who knew that there was a proper way to and not to sharpen your pencils? Okay, in your set, you're going to grab some different stamps. You're going to grab this one, which is kind of your greenery. That is 3 sprigs. Your 3 sprigs of greenery. Then you have a single sprig of greenery. And then I just love the detail on this cute little acorn. So we just have to use that little acorn. Is he not adorable? So you have 3 sprigs, 1 sprig, and an adorable little acorn. And what we're going to do is we're going to randomly stamp a background. So here, we're going to stamp around the outside edges randomly with those 3 stamps to kind of coordinate and match. So I'm starting with my 3 sprig, technical term, my 3 sprig, and I'm just going to stamp up in the corner. And don't worry about stamping in the center because it's going to be covered up. So we're just going to be stamping along the outer edge. Okay, so whatever I did up there, I'm going to kind of go down here, repeat the same thing. Then I'm going to go over here, kind of go up the side. So there I've done my 3 sprigs. And I'm just going to use my chamois and kind of wipe off that ink. My stamps, I leave like this. I leave my stamps fairly dirty because dirty stamps stamp better. And this is Jet Black Archival, so it kind of works as a primer. Now, if I go in with another archival ink, which is permanent in a different color, you will want to clean this off your stamp. But since I'm just mostly using watercolors, it's fine. Or dye-based inks, it's fine. The only reason you'd want to go in and change this is if you're using another archival ink, because archival and archival do not play well together, and it will kind of constitute it. And if you go in to use a white ink pad, you now have a custom gray one. Ask me how I know. Yeah. Okay, now we're going in with that cute little pine cone. And we're just going to go in a couple spots, just kind of turning it, going off the sides of our card. Okay, we've got a cute little pine cone. I just love the detail that's in this pine cone. Is that not adorable? Look at it. Love the detail. Okay, and then our last one is our single sprig. A little single sprig. And we're just going to go in and fill in spots that need some more spriggage. Is that a technical term? Spriggage? I swear Ken is shaking his head half the time I do classes. Just make up my own terms. Okay, so there is our random background. Again, we're going to put something in the center of it so it doesn't matter. Yes, these stamps are great. They are by Impression Obsession, and their red rubber stamps quality is just amazing. The details that are on them are phenomenal. Okay, so we've got that stamped. We're going to flip her over, and we're going to glue that down too. Now again, if you want to pop these layers, go for it and pop them. I'm just going to glue them flat because I need some to mail. Okay, looky there. Ta-da! Okay, so the next one that we're going to do, and I kind of broke them up individually there. So the next piece that we're going to do is this piece right here. We're going to do this blue frame and the white on top. Again, I subbed out, and if you look at my sample, I used regular watercolor paper, and it did not do what I wanted it to do. It kind of made it pilled the cardstock. So we're going to replace this with watercolor paper instead of white. So you're going to cut a piece of blue. That is going to be 3 by 4 and 1/8. Okay? 3 by 4 and 1/8. Then you're going to cut a piece of, like I said, I did a white one. I didn't like it. I'm going to nix it. And I'm doing watercolor instead. Got a little fuzzy there. My watercolor is 2 7/8 by 4. 2 7/8 by 4. And these two pieces are going to go on top of each other. So you have just a hair of blue around the outside edge, and then we will pop this on your card. Okay, so set your blue piece to the side, and you're going to grab your stamping platform again, and this time we're going to grab the holly berry, and I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the bottom corner of my platform this time because the stamp is going to be stamped on the whole piece. We're not stamping off the side for this one. So there is your holly berry. And you're just going to center it in that space. And this time, we're going to stamp it with Jet Black Archival ink. Jet Black Archival. So we're stamping it with permanent ink, because what we're doing on the next one is we want all the pieces to stay nice and crisp. You could use the dye-based inks again if you want, but this time I want to have that nice black edge. And I'm going to stamp it again because I want it a little bit darker than that. Might be time to re-ink my ink pad. I like my black ones to be nice and juicy, so I over-ink them. That way they're nice and crisp. That looks perfect. I love that. I keep losing my chamois. I'm setting it on top of my light. I keep losing it because I'm afraid if I set it down somewhere, it's going to touch my cardstock and then it ruins my cardstock. How many of you have done that? You can create a beautiful card and then you set your chamois down and it touches the paper and destroys the whole thing because it's wet. Okay, I'm just going to hit it with the heat tool just to make sure everything is nice and dry before we go coloring in. I got 5 minutes. I think we'll make it. Okay. And then again, I'm going to go in with that green. This was the peeled paint. And I'm not going to worry about doing the skinny parts. I'm just going to do the leaves. So I'm just coloring in the leaves. And again, going in very loosely, because once we go in with the water brush, that will fill in all the other areas. And this one is peeled paint. And see, now if you took your pencils out and you've actually played with them and you only got one set, you're going to be like, oh my God, I love it. Now I have to have the other two sets. It's called full set syndrome. I have that. Full set syndrome. I must have them all, because what if I need a shade darker or a shade lighter? Okay, then we're going to take our water brush and we're going to quickly blend out that green. Again, leaving some white and not blending it out so it's solid, because this will leave some darks and some lights in your coloring. Kourtney's coloring, so she's quiet. Right? And I find it easier to move my project than trying to move your hand in an uncomfortable position. Just kind of whirl that little guy around. And now that I've done all this coloring, I've got my dirty brush. I'm going to take my dirty brush and I'm going to color the sprigs. And if you need some more color, you're just going to go right on your pencil, pick up that color and color directly with it. So you can control how little or how much you put on there. And again, those pencils are kind of fat to hit that little area. All right, perfect. How's everybody doing? Are we doing good? Everybody crafting along. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush off. Clean that off. Okay, and this is a holly, or a mistletoe. Sorry, I keep calling it holly. It's a mistletoe. Mistletoe. So these guys stay white. Leave those white. Then we're going to go in with red, which is candied apple. And again, we're going to color in the bow. And then we're going to take our brush and blend that red out. Playing with these pencils, there was something else I kind of discovered that I liked about these pencils, and I'll show you in 1 second. Okay, so there, I'm going to clean my brush out. Sometimes when we do the black and we color it in this way, we're not getting that low, medium, and dark reds like we did when we used the distress ink that blended out. So I wanted to have some highlighted darker areas in my brush. So what I did is, I don't know where my water bottle is, so I'm just going to squeeze some water out on my mat from my brush. Can you see that little dollop of water? There's a little dollop of water there. What you can do is take your pencil and dip it in there and let it get a little bit of wet to it. Do you see how the tip of it's wet now? Now you can go in and draw directly with it. And this allows you to get a lot of pigmentation in there. And I'm just going in randomly. I don't want it to be perfect. I'm just wanting to highlight some dark spots. So I'm dipping it into the watercolor or into the water to get a higher pigmentation. And then I just wipe off the tip. So that gives you a deeper pigmentation there. And can you see how by going directly with a wet tip of the marker or the pencil, it gives you a whole new effect. Isn't that cool too? Okay. And then last thing, make sure your brush is clear. I went in and I wanted to give it a watercolor kind of effect wash to it. So what I did is I just took the blue and I'm going to pick up the blue onto my brush. And then I'm going to go in here and then just randomly wiggle it around and give it a little bit of like a blue background. So it doesn't look like it's floating. I'm just kind of grounding it with a little bit of blue. If you get too heavy, like I just did there, no worries. Hit your brush with a little bit more water and it blends it out. You do want to make sure your red and your green is kind of dry because you don't want to hit wet on wet, because if you do that, then we end up with brown. Kind of end up with a little bit of mud. I think my water brush is running out of water. My blue is getting a lot bolder. Oops, and there I got a little watery. So I'm going to just dab it off, and that picks that color up. Hold on, Pop-Pop. Okay. And see how that just makes it kind of pop? It just kind of gives it a little bit more color to it. And it kind of grounds it a little bit more, and it makes it look like a more natural kind of watercolor picture or watercolor palette. And that is, oh sorry, I don't think I told you what color. Tumbled Glass. Tumbled Glass was the blue I used on that. And I just kind of went in and wet it down and wiggle it. And just give it a nice little highlight. So it just kind of gives it that blue in the background. And I'll take a picture of this. I don't know that the camera is picking it up really well here, but I will take a better picture and post it in the group so you can see that watercolor effect better. Okay, then we are going to glue this down to the blue piece. Kenneth! He's supposed to be on puppy duty and he disappeared. Puppy sitter. Okay, there's that. Then we're going to put some foam on the back of that. We're going to pop the whole thing. And anybody see where my scissors went? Sorry guys if that was loud. Give her the old squish test, put some on the side, some in the center, and then we are going to pop that right there in the center. And then the last thing, I was going to leave it like that, and then I kept staring at it, and I thought, oh, it needs a sentiment. I don't know why, it just kind of bothered me, right, Amy? Real life crafting here. And you know what it's like, Amy. You just got a new puppy. I saw your adorable little photos. Okay, so now we're going to cut a blue piece that is 2 by 1 3/8. So what I ended up doing is just put the little sentiment right there in the corner. So 2 by 1 3/8. Two, 3, 3/8. And then our white piece is going to be 1 7/8 by 1 1/4. And that little white piece is going to go right on top of that, and evidently my math was off, so I'll shave that off once I glue it down. And we're going to stamp it with Season's Greetings, and again I'm just going to use black. Season's Greetings. Oh, I just love, love, love this stamp set. It is so pretty and elegant, and I can't wait to see what you guys do with the poinsettia. I had another idea in my head, so I might go ahead and do that and just post the photo, but that poinsettia is gorgeous, so I can't wait to see what you guys do with the rest of the stamps and stuff that's in this set, and I can't wait to see what Stacy does too. And like I said, probably next Tuesday, hopefully Stacy uses poinsettia, we'll see. Next Tuesday is when they're planning to reschedule the Clipper Street presentation. So make sure to watch our Facebook page, Clipper Street's Facebook page, and also Crafty Our Creations Facebook page, and we'll keep you updated on the rescheduled times for Stacy's one. Okay, so there is our Season's Greetings. We just matted that. I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to put pop dots right here, a foam strip right along the bottom of that. If you put it higher up, it's going to bump into this piece right here, and I just want it to very lightly set on that bottom. So I have foam on the bottom, and I'm going to put a little bit of liquid at the top. And I'm just going over a little bit, but hopefully you guys don't mind. We say an hour, but we'll do it ish. Okay, so there's your Season's Greetings. The last things that I added to this was I added a little bit of glossy accents, or if you have the clear Nouveau drops, those will work perfect too. And I put a little bit of glossy in the center of those little white holly berries, and it just kind of makes it pop. It makes those little, again, not holly, Kourtney, on that. And then I added some bling. So I love these little triangular trays. These are great to use. And then the Pink Fresh, this is their new gems. These are called, what are they called? Glitter drops. They come in 12 different colors for the glitter drops, and I decided it just needed a little extra bling bling of those. So we're going to add some glitter drops. I like to do a sprinkling of 3. So we'll do 1, 2, and 3. I always just take my glue and then I press them down and go. This little tool is a new tool that we started carrying, and it's got a poker at one end and a wax tip at the other. Now the tip is wax, so if your pieces are not picking up, don't push harder, because if you push too hard, you're gonna bust this. It's like a candle, it's candle wax. You don't wanna break it. If it's not sticking, just make sure you take your finger and kind of rub over it. Make sure there's nothing kind of gummy on there. Or if you hold it a little bit, it kind of warms it up like wax, and then it works, it's sticky again too. So warm it up. Okay, so there are our last little bling kind of added to it. These are the gems from Pink Fresh. They come in 12 different colors. I love, love, love these little cases they come in, because you can just unzip them, and then you can take your tray and just dump them in again, so they're easy to put back in the packaging. Because how many times have you licked your finger and chased them around or lost them on the floor? This thing, life-changing, just the simplest things in life. So that is Crafty Hour number 6. using the Impression Obsession Kit. There's our 2 cards. I'll take a better picture of those and when it's daylight and post them in the group for you guys so you have those. So thank you for joining in. I hope some of you crafted along. If not, you watch it and then you can craft along on the replay when you have some time. So thank you for joining. We love that you participate in these crafty hours, and stay tuned because we have more in the works and we have more plans, and the whole idea is to get you crafting and do something quick and easy in an hour. You can take an hour, you can make some beautiful cards and play with some new products and learn some new techniques. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the hearts. Thank you for joining us Tuesday night. Have a wonderful night, and don't forget to post your inspirations over on the group so we can see what you made. Have a great night, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.